there never seems to be a problem with the missile. The Navy runs a very tight ship when it comes to nuclear deterrence, and it keeps Lockheed Martin on board because its three-stage, solid-fuel ballistic missile is the most reliable such vehicle ever built, bar none. How reliable? Since its design was completed in 1989, the D-5 has executed 165 successful test flights, a record unmatched by any other large ballistic missile or launch vehicle. As for its potency, a single D-5 equipped with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles carrying nuclear warheads can destroy a small country such as North Korea. A handful of D-5s could collapse the entire electrical grid, transportation network and information infrastructure of even the largest countries. And the Navy has hundreds of D-5 missiles. So why would the United States need such a fearsome weapon? The answer comes down to this: if you can't defend your homeland against a large-scale nuclear attack, then the next best option is to threaten adversaries with devastating retaliation if they launch one. In other words, you have to convince the enemy that attacking America would be suicidal. The strategy is called deterrence, and it is the main reason why no foreign nation has seriously threatened the US with nuclear aggression since the Navy built out its undersea missile force. When the goal is deterring aggression, the key metric of success isn't how many weapons a country possesses. It's how many weapons survive a surprise attack, because those are the weapons the enemy has to worry about. Possessing a secure retaliatory force is the sine qua non of effective deterrence. So deploying hundreds of D-5 missiles on submarines that stay submerged and undetectable for months at a time is just about the most potent deterrent imaginable. The US actually maintains a triad of nuclear systems, D-5s on submarines, land-based ballistic missiles, and long-range bombers, so enemies can harbor no illusions about their ability to disarm America in a surprise attack. But countries like Russia know precisely where US land-based missile silos and bomber bases are located, so they could hypothetically be targeted in a crisis. The submarines can't be. Once they are on station under the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans, they are essentially impossible to find, and thus highly survivable. That's why the Pentagon plans to deploy over 2/3 of the warheads in the US strategic arsenal on submarines in the years ahead. A single Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine has 24 missile tubes, and each of the D-5s in those tubes carries at least several nuclear warheads that can be directed at separate targets. The missiles can carry up to 14 warheads, although the max per missile today is probably 8 due to arms control limitations. Each warhead has a yield of 100 or 475 kilotons, and can hit within 300 feet of intended targets. At those yields, 5 to 25 times the explosive power of the weapon that leveled Hiroshima in 1945, the warheads carried by a D-5 can destroy pretty much anything, including a hardened command bunker. So even an erratic foreign leader like Kim Jong-un would have to think long and hard before attacking the US. Chances are, such leaders would not survive the first wave of US retaliation, which would arrive from Navy submarines less than 30 minutes after the attack was detected. The Navy has begun developing a next-generation submarine designated to the Columbia class that will be even harder to track than the 14 Ohio-class boats comprising the current undersea deterrent. The first such vessel will commence construction at the Electric Boat Unit of General Dynamics in 2021, with delivery planned for 2027, about the time that Cold War ballistic missile subs begin retiring. But the Navy hasn't developed a successor to the D-5, because it isn't clear something better is needed. What the Navy is doing instead is extending the life of the D-5 design from 25 years to 50 by modernizing everything from the guidance system to the re-entry vehicle hosting the warheads. The program commenced in 2002 and the first two life-extended missile were loaded onto a sub in February. So when the first Columbia-class sub goes to sea at the end of the next decade, it will be carrying D-5 missiles, as will the next generation of British ballistic missile subs, which draw their weapons from the same pool as the Navy under an agreement stretching back to 1963. The high reliability demonstrated by the D5 is especially noteworthy given the unique way in which it is launched. The missile is actually ejected from the